Welcome to the Bushtops Camp's official agent presentation. My name is Robin Stewart. I joined the company 3 years ago with a primary focus on marketing. We're a Swiss family-run business. My parents Andrew and Claudia Stewart introduced a high-end product in the Masai Mara about 10 years ago, and since then branched out to Serengeti to create the perfect wildebeest migration circuit. Masai Mara and Serengeti are great to visit all year round, but the main event is the famous wildebeest migration. We positioned each of our properties in what we believe are the best locations, not too close to the crowds and also not too far away. Not many people actually know this, but our family were the pioneers of photographic safaris in Africa. My great-great-grandfather Charles Cotter traveled from North America to Africa for hunting expeditions. They used to film their experiences to entice people to come out to visit. Here we have a map of the Masai Mara and Serengeti ecosystem, the dark green area. The arrows illustrate the movement of the wildebeest. I'm going to start off with Mara Bushtops, located just 20 minutes drive outside the reserve in our own private conservancy. It takes about 1 hour to get to the nearest river crossing spot from the camp. Being in our own private conservancy means we can offer our guests many unique experiences that would not be possible inside the park. Activities like walking safaris, night safaris, private bush breakfasts, sundowners, as well as being allowed to drive off-road to get closer to the action. Our conservancy is rich with wildlife all year round. We have everything passing through, from the migration to the occasional rhino. Guests arrive to a great view of the conservancy in our lobby and meet Lawrence Abura, one of the top hosts in the business. Lawrence has worked with us for over 20 years, starting out as a German-speaking tour guide and now in charge of Mara Bushtops. After a briefing with Lawrence, the butler will take our guests to their tent suites. We have 12 tents in total, so we're a small exclusive camp. Each tent has 100 square meters of wooden decking and opens up on 3 sides to give panoramic views of the wilderness. In the evening, the butler closes the tent and sprays insect repellent. Most tents have spectacular views of the conservancy. The rest have views of our salt lick. I'll tell you about our salt lick later on. If you look in the corner of the tent, you can see a sunken hot tub. This is our signature service at all Bushtops properties. Each tent has an inside and outside shower. We have a gorgeous family tent that accommodates up to 6 people. It has a unique sunken lounge and its own fire pit. The tent faces the salt lick. After freshening up, guests head down to the main building where they meet the service team for lunch outside on the deck. While having lunch, our guests have a fantastic view of the salt lick. Mara Bushtops was placed here because of the salt lick. As far as we know, we're the only camp in the Masai Mara with such a big salt lick. As you can see, it attracts a lot of wildlife. Our guests have called this spot the best view in the Masai Mara. We get up to 15 different species of animals at once during lunch hours. Elephant, giraffe, buffalo, zebra, wildebeest, topis, warthog, impala, eland, baboons, and many more. And that's all at the same time. The high concentration of wildlife also attracts the predators, like lions and leopard, and sometimes we even get cheetah. We're the only camp in Masai Mara with an underground wine cellar. We have over 1,000 bottles from all over the world, but mainly from South Africa. We have 3 house wines that are included. 3 red, 3 white, all from South Africa, and our connoisseur wines have an extra charge. When the sun sets and the stars come out, the wildlife experience changes completely. Lions and leopards become more active and hunt. We also see nocturnal creatures like porcupine, aardvark, and nightjars, which cannot really be seen during the day. We have a very special night vision camera that gives us a unique way to observe animals without disturbing them. The latest addition to Mara Bushtops is the African Spa Village. We're proud to have been titled Africa's Best Safari Spa by the World Luxury Spa Awards, among other awards. We have a large heated swimming pool, a sauna, steam room, hot jacuzzi, cold dip pool, and a relaxation room. We have 2 treatment tents overlooking the salt lake. We use Terre d'Afrique products, an organic African plant-based range of creams, oils, waxes, etc. Here is our sauna and steam room, our fitness tent, and at night, our pool transforms into a beautiful display of stars, the perfect spot for romantic evenings. Across the Quênia and Tanzânia border, we have Serengeti Bushtops, inside the National Reserve, about an hour's drive to the Mara River where the crossings take place. We have found the perfect location for Serengeti Bushtops. The landscape is very different to Masai Mara, with ancient copy rock formations scattered across the land and in and around the camp. On arrival, guests meet Pantaleo. Pantaleo has worked with us for over 15 years. We have 11 tents and 2 family tents. All tents open up on 2 sides and have 120 square meters of living space. The shower opens up on the side, which gives a great view of the landscape. Each tent has a sunken lounge, the perfect spot to watch the sunset. And of course, we have our large hot tub on the deck. Hot tubs are pre-prepared by the butler, so when guests get back from a long day game drive, they can hop right in with some canapes and drinks. We have a lovely rock pool. We offer our guests private dining on the pool deck. We also have a very romantic secret spot where guests can opt to have a private dinner. We charge extra for this setup. Here is our lounge in the mess tent. A bar separates the lounge and the dining area. And at the back we have a wine wall, and like Mara Bushtops, we have 3 house wines, 3 reds, 3 whites from South Africa, and the connoisseur wines have an extra charge. And finally we have Roving Bushtops, located in central Serengeti. We're about 25 minutes drive from the Serenera airstrip. Roving Bushtops opened in 2016 and is a fully mobile camp. For now, we are staying put as Serenera is fantastic all year round. But we do plan to move the camp when we have secured new locations. We will announce any movements well in advance. What you're looking at here is the Roving Bushtops tent, being towed by one of our safari vehicles. It's our latest innovation created by Andrew Stewart, my father. The box turns into this. 100 square meters of luxury living space. This is actually our family configuration, 2 rovers parked side by side. In charge of Roving Bushtops is Philip. Philip has been working with us for over 8 years. Here's a time-lapse of the rover opening up. It takes about 3 hours to set up. In this instance, we started setting the tent up at 3 and finished by 6. We have 6 tents in total, 2 of which are our family tent. The tent opens up on 3 sides just like Mara Bushtops and face the sunset. All furniture is designed to fold up and neatly pack away for traveling. Each tent has its own minibar, is completely solar powered and also solar heated. Here is the bathroom, which is the box you saw earlier. It has a special marine flushing toilet. We had to include our signature experience in the design. It was an engineering nightmare, but the hard work did pay off. This is what the atmosphere looks like in the mess tent at sunset. Here is the dining area, and you can see the campfire just outside. It's the perfect spot in the evening to chat with your ranger about the sightings of the day. All of our wines and spirits are included. After dinner, guests have the clearest views of the night sky before turning the lights off and going to bed. Now we're going to talk a bit about Bushtops in general. Most of the time spent on safari is actually in the vehicle. With this in mind, we wanted to make sure the game experience is the best. And this means having the best safari vehicles, designed by my father, who by trade is a boat designer. All of our vehicles are open and have soft suspension. Every detail has been thought of in the design process. Daniel Lemoy is our head guide at Bushtops camps. He's been with us for over 10 years. We are confident that he is one of the best, if not the best, guides in Eastern Africa. He's in charge of training all of our rangers at Bushtops. What separates Bushtops from others is we have a team of 2 in every vehicle. As the name implies, the spotter's job is to spot wildlife. 80% of the time the spotter spots the animals, and that allows the ranger to focus on the road. We hire local spotters from the community, some having been poachers beforehand. We try to provide an alternative source of income, which helps them step away from poaching. It's very special being in an open vehicle. It really feels like you're there in the moment. We strive to give our guests the best possible wildlife experience. At noon, the ranger finds the perfect tree to stop for a bush lunch. We do a la carte dining at all 3 properties. We offer our guests a very large selection of dishes, 15 starters, 15 main courses, and 10 desserts. Each camp is different. We have a combination of international dishes as well as local dishes, and also encourage our guests to challenge our chefs to prepare a dish that's off the menu. We have some great desserts on the menu as well. We have 24-hour butler service at all 3 camps, and it's also worth mentioning that we have 24-hour power at all camps. The butler can also arrange in-tent dining on request. We also offer walking safaris. It's easier to do a walking safari at Mara Bushtops as we have a private conservancy. At Serengeti Bushtops, we charge an additional $50 for a 2-hour walk. And at Roving Bushtops, we do a nature walk in the campgrounds. But unfortunately, we can't do a bushwalk outside the camp at Roving Bushtops. It's possible for our guests to go on a balloon safari at all 3 camps. We highly recommend this activity to our guests. It's a wonderful experience to see the land and animals from above. We also do bush breakfasts at all camps. We recently introduced the Bushcraft Challenge at Bushtops, a program designed for younger members of the family. We offer archery and spear throwing, learning to make fire without matches or a lighter, bead making, identifying animal bones, and at the end of the trip, the ranger awards a signed certificate after completing the challenge. And finally, I'd like to finish off by telling you a bit about Mark G. Mark is a visual effects artist and the world's best astronomy photographer. Mark has worked on Oscar-winning and nominated films like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Avatar, etc. He comes out to Bushtops every year to host wildlife and astronomy photography workshops. Here is a shot he took about 200 meters from Mara Bushtops of some giraffe. I personally took part in one of his workshops and later took this image, which won me Africa Geographic's Photographer of the Year. One-on-one time with Mark was well worth it. So how do we actually get to and from the camps? To get to Mara Bushtops, there's a flight from Wilson Airport to Masai Mara, which takes about 40 minutes. To get to Serengeti Bushtops from Mara Bushtops, there's a flight from Siana Airstrip to Migori, which takes about 20 minutes. A road transfer takes you across the border to Tarime, which takes 40 minutes in total. Then there's a 15-minute flight to Kogatenda Airstrip, which is about 40 minutes drive from Serengeti Bushtops. To get to Roving Bushtops from Serengeti Bushtops, there's a 45-minute flight from Kogatenda to Serenera Airstrip. To get to Roving Bushtops or Serengeti Bushtops from Kilimanjaro International Airport, there's a flight to Arusha and then off to Serenera and onwards to Kogatenda. It's also worth mentioning that there's a flight from Kilimanjaro Airport to Wilson Airport, as well as a flight from Tarime Airstrip to Nairobi International Airport. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can also find out more information on our website, www.bushtopscamps.com.